Well, hi. You catch me on my evening walk, which is the tradition that I have maintained the most consistently since moving to, honestly, since before moving to California, but definitely since 6 years ago. I've been kind of on and off with running. I've been a lot more on and off with bicycling, but just going for a lovely evening walk, putting in some AirPods and listening to music or a podcast, usually music I find really pumps me up the most, has been something that I have done super consistently. And I'm sure that like it's not gonna get me jacked or whatever, but it for no other physical benefit, I always feel better afterwards mentally. And to me, that's what's most important. I just realized I'm still playing music through my AirPods in my pocket. I thought I heard something. That's why I keep looking that way. I keep thinking that I heard somebody talking. Nope, that was coming from my pocket. So the semester started, the fall 2022, and honestly, I'm feeling pretty good. Mostly because all the classes that I have to take are 101 classes to complete the EGETSI, which is basically the transfer requirements for most California colleges, or state colleges at least. And they're all like, they're relatively easy. I mean, they're challenging, don't get me wrong, but it's not like I'd have to take difficult math. Admittedly, I say that. My first math class officially begins on Tuesday, I think. So I guess I shouldn't say that so confidently, but all the other 101 classes are going really well. I'm taking Music 101, which I had a test for this morning, So I've had a pretty consistently terrible sleep schedule for the past half a year, definitely. And part of that is because I just have always thought that I had a lot of trouble falling asleep at night. So I had this big test, my first test for music class, that I really, really wanted to do well in. So I told my girlfriend, Susan, that I was going to bed early, and then kind of challenged myself because I remembered how easily I fell asleep in Baja. And part of that might have been because I was getting so little sleep every night that once I did finally hit the hay, I was able to conk out even when I was outside on the beach and could hear like all the waves, and there were occasionally, actually, were there any? Now that I say it out loud, the only bug I can remember was occasionally some bees in the morning if I slept by a bush that was out there. Anywho, so I've, for a hot minute, for definitely years plural at this point, I thought the only way that I can fall asleep is with earbuds in, listening to a podcast or music or a Let's Play, whether that be, my most consistent have been Ear Biscuits by Rhett and Link, Markiplier playing games with his friends Bob and Wade, or sometimes Ladies and Tangents, although usually I'm more awake when listening to that than less. So I decided to do a little experiment and not play anything and try and fall asleep with my ears open, and you know what? I was out. 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. I woke up at 6 and felt amazing. So I think I'm gonna do that more. And it's honestly gonna get difficult because the one thing I noticed was this sense of almost craving stimulation. Like my body was like, okay, now it's time for your information take in of the day. And I just didn't have one that day. And it did feel a little bit weird. So I'm expecting that craving, in a sense, to get worse and worse until I finally can do this without that craving, and hopefully about 2 weeks when my body gets used to it. But I want to be going to bed early because I have to get up at 6 a.m. every day for school, which is really early. That's like sun rising early at this point. And Susan does 4-hour live streams. She starts at 4 a.m. my time, which I don't know if I can ever commit to getting up that early consistently. But 6 a.m. I also start watching her stream, and you know, I'm sure to like comment on it and like it and all of the other stuff that, you know, you do on a live stream if you want the person streaming to get recommended more in the For You page. Anyway, all of that was built up to say, I woke up this morning, felt great, had 2 cups of coffee, had some eggs, had a Monster energy drink right before the test, because yesterday I had a Monster energy drink first thing in the morning and it energized me the entire day. I was expecting to feel banging on top of the world today, and I took the test and I don't think I did well. There was one specific concept. I think it's like E-harmonic spelling. Oh, no, not E-harmonic spelling. I'm sorry, I know what that is. That's pretty easy. But it's like the concept of some notes are whole steps from each other versus some notes are half steps from each other. And I'm not talking sharps and flats. I'm talking like, you know, E is a half step from F, but F is a whole step from G. I don't know if that's, I don't know this subject, obviously. And like, a lot of the quiz was this one particular thing that I was really hoping it wasn't. Oops. So that's cool. And then the day kind of continued on that element. There was an event that I was supposed to shoot, and I was looking forward to it. And then it actually came in. So yesterday was a great day. I felt on top of the world. I was hanging out with friends. I made a new friend. I just felt really confident socially. And most important, I felt comfortable looking into people's eyes. Because I sure didn't today. And I don't know if this is just a holdover from social anxiety or what, but I felt like an intruder at the event that I was shooting photos of, which I wasn't. I was specifically asked by the staff, not even the staff, the person in charge of the entire thing came to me personally to ask. I was supposed to be there. It was fine, but I felt very awkward. Maybe that's not the right word. Like I was kind of hunched over in the corner of the room, like crossed my legs, kind of hunched my shoulders over. And then I would realize like, oh, the one thing I don't want to ever be perceived as, because it's incredibly easy to be perceived as a photographer, is creepy, is a creeper. Especially when you're taking photos of people from across the room, right? That's literally my job. I really felt like that today. And I kept thinking like, okay, don't be the creepy guy that like is just watching everybody. Like, don't make eye contact with anybody. But then I was the weird guy in the corner that was refusing to look at anyone. And I know that eye contact is good. It's a good thing. It makes people feel valued, and avoiding it can be creepy. It's like intellectually I know that, but it's so hard when you're looking at somebody because you're about to take a photo of them and they lock eyes with you. My immediate instinct is to look away, to look to the right or look up. Usually look to the right. And today that won. So I'm not particularly happy with how the photos turned out. They're okay. I mean, they're not bad. They're just not special. They're not unique. You know, I felt like I was very much phoning it in, playing it safe. I shot a lot with the telephoto lens because that would mean I would be on the other side of the room and just zooming in as opposed to physically stepping closer to people. And I consider that phoning it in. All the shots look relatively similar because of that, because I was just hunched over in one corner. So that was today. It did not compare to yesterday in the slightest, but I've kind of resolved myself to next Monday consider it like an experiment. I'm going to force myself to make direct eye contact with people and deal with the fallout if the things that my brain is telling me will happen because of that will happen, which I know that they won't, which is why I feel comfortable doing this challenge. But it's like one of those things I have to trick my brain into doing. I talked about this a lot when the end of 2020, when I was not doing particularly great mentally and had to force myself by using tricks to get out of the house. Like I would play Pokemon Go purely as an excuse to get out and walk, and that worked. And now here I am again in 2022, very, very grateful. Did you hear that guy fart over there, by the way, like a couple minutes ago when he was, did you hear that? Because I sure did, but I could not react to it. So anyway, my goal is next Monday to have the same kind of day as I did on Thursday, this past Thursday. Thank you. I'm gonna get back to my walk now.